My name is Kate Moore. I'm an artist and a writer from Kerry, and now I live in Cork. Um, and yeah, I write young adult fiction mostly, and just fiction in general. And I also do drag, and I make scenes. I'm a drag kid, or some people would call it a drag thing, really, because it's very like abstract, weird drag, I think. Most of my fiction deals with it is aimed at young adults and teenagers. It would deal with themes of a lot of the time I focus on character, I focus on queerness. I'm a queer person myself. I focus on writing about trauma and writing about people's life experiences and the things that make them that way. And I'm very interested in the relationships between people in my writing. Really like focusing on people in my writing specifically. I'm really interested in characters and in their motivation and in the conflicts between them, what makes people act the way they do. So I think that's a very important element in my work. I also really like to make people laugh in my writing as much as I can. And I think a lot of the time through humor, you can see a lot of the truth about people through making them laugh and through jokes. So I try and keep kind of a light tone. And a lot of, I think my goal in writing is for people to be laughing and then stop and go, wait a second, there's actually something more going on here. There's something deeper. So I think that's very important. I think that I always, because I have like chronic ADHD, it was just diagnosed this year, but like through my entire childhood and teenage years, I very much a neurodivergent person. And I was always kind of like the kid who felt a little bit strange or a little bit odd and was like, there's something, I feel like the weird kid, but I don't know why. And I think I used writing a lot of the time as a way to find myself and to explore the world around me. And, you know, sometimes for a little bit of escapism, that sort of thing. And I think that a lot of the time when I write, it is for that weird kid and for other kids who might be feeling that way, you know, and they're kind of, especially because I write young adult fiction, I want people to be able to see themselves in it and feel maybe a little bit less alone if they are feeling that way. And I think that's something that I find very important in my own. I think when it comes to what inspires me, there's kind of like two separate dimensions there. Because there's my writing and then there's stuff like drag and zines. And I think when it comes to the writing, a lot of the time an idea can kind of come from anywhere. Like I will be inspired a lot of the time by the people around me. And a lot of the people in my life will kind of end up in some way in my writing, like not to scare any of my friends who might be watching this. But a lot of the time little things will kind of pop up where I'm like, oh, this trait from someone I know has actually ended up in this character and I won't even realize. Or I will see something interesting in the news or just out in public, or someone will say a sentence and my brain will kind of do a little like domino effect of like, oh, what if this could be this? Or what if this thing happened instead of what they said? And then an idea will kind of come from there. But a lot of the time, I think in my fiction, I start with a image. So I'll see someone interesting in public and I'll go, what's their deal? What's their story? Or I'll see something in a movie that's a really interesting line. And I'm like, that's really interesting. But what if it was this? And I'll start with one image or one character or one sentence and I'll kind of work from there a lot of the time. I sometimes as well have this really strange thing where as I'm falling asleep or when I wake up in the morning, a like fully formed sentence will pop into my head. And I have no idea where it comes from. I don't know, like divine inspiration or something. um, but a lot of the time I will just have something fully formed pop into my head and I'm like, that's an idea. No idea where it comes from. Feels slightly magical, but it's there. So I guess I better do something with it. So that's a lot of the time with my fiction work, I guess, what inspires me. But there's things as well then with my zines and with my drag work. A lot of the time with drag, it'll be a song or something like that, or I'll see an image. I do a lot of scrolling through Pinterest, looking for, you know, interesting costume ideas or makeup ideas or music ideas. And with zines, a lot of the time I write about my personal life in my zine work. So it'll be like an emotion I'm having or just something that's been on my mind a lot, and I'll explore it kind of through the medium of like a really silly little booklet. And I think I take those a lot less seriously in some ways in my writing work. I think they're kind of very much like an outlet for if I'm writing something and I'm like, oh, this is a long project, I'm a little bit tired of working on this. Zines or drag will be like my little creative outlet where I'm like, I put less pressure on myself almost. And I know that's not necessarily maybe the most healthy way to look at my own work, but I'm a very, I think, ambitious person when it comes to like writing and when it comes to my fiction. And then drag and zines are very much like my little outlet to kind of just do something crazy and have it not matter. I'm currently working on a young adult novel, which is about it's kind of like a young adult realism, LGBT realism, I would describe it. And basically, a lot of very bad things happen, but then everything's fine. And I've been working on that for a couple of years now, and I'm hoping to have it out on submission. So, submitting to agents and publishers at the end of this year, at the start of next year. I am also working on short fiction a lot more, which is something I haven't done in years. So, I'm very excited about that. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe you'll see that some places soon, hopefully, but who knows. So those are my main two projects that will be coming in the future.